You'll never make it in this business, Nora. Stick to your day job. Sabrina's voice still lingers in my mind, wrapped in the echo of my sister's laughter around our parents' dinner table. That was 6 months ago, the night I told them about my dream. I'm Nora, the youngest of 4. And if there's one thing my sisters have perfected, it's telling me what I can't do. Pass the potatoes, Lauren had said that night, not even looking up, like my dream was nothing more than background noise. At least the bank keeps you fed. I gripped my fork tighter, forcing a smile. My YouTube baking channel had 10,000 subscribers. People loved my recipes. But before I could say that, Amber chimed in, her voice laced with sugary condescension. Oh honey, anyone can follow a recipe. That doesn't make you a business owner. The heat crept up my neck. I could still feel it as I stood from that table, my untouched dinner sitting cold on my plate. My sisters had always been like this. Sabrina with her polished corporate success, Amber with her gallery connections, Lauren with her sharp tongue and sharper wit. They turned belittling me into an Olympic sport. They're just looking out for you, Mom had said later, finding me in the kitchen, elbow deep in chocolate chip cookie dough. I pressed my hands against the counter, heart pounding. Watch me. The next morning, I walked into my job at the bank and handed in my resignation. My hand shook but my voice didn't. Daniel, my colleague, caught up with me in the parking lot. You're really doing it? His tone was careful, but his eyes held something else, something that wasn't doubt. I exhaled. Someone has to prove them wrong. He grabbed my arm, stopping me. Let me help. I know business, and you've got the talent. We could be partners. I searched his face for mockery, for pity, for anything resembling my sister's skepticism. But all I found was sincerity. Why would you want to? He grinned. Because I've tasted your apple cinnamon rolls. And because everyone deserves a chance to prove their family wrong. That was the moment everything changed. Not because of Daniel's offer, though that certainly helped. It was because for the first time I stopped seeing their doubt as a wall and started seeing it as fuel. I signed the lease on a tiny storefront the following week. Every moment of self-doubt, every dismissive laugh, every stick to your day job, became another brick in the foundation of what would soon be the velvet whisk. Let them laugh. I give them something to choke on. Opening day was quiet. Too quiet. I stood behind the counter, my apron dusted in flour, watching people stroll past the window display without a second glance. Daniel rearranged the lavender macarons. Again. Maybe we should have spent more on advertising, I muttered, checking my phone. No new notifications. No new orders. Daniel leaned back, arms crossed. Give it time. Rome wasn't built in a day, neither was Starbucks. The bell above the door chimed and Hannah, my best friend since 3rd grade, burst in, phone in hand. Nora, have you checked your YouTube notifications? I frowned. Been a little busy stress eating our inventory. I held up a half-eaten chocolate croissant. Her eyes were wide. Your midnight baking video went viral. My stomach dropped. What? She shoved her phone in my face. The Galaxy Mirror Glaze cake. The one I made at 3 a.m. when I couldn't sleep. The view counter was soaring past 100,000. The comments were overflowing. People wanted to buy my cakes. Daniel leaned over my shoulder. Holy shit. The bell chimed again. And again. By noon, the line stretched around the block. My hands shook as I boxed up orders, but I couldn't stop smiling. Is it true? You're the girl from the video? A customer asked, phone raised, recording me. The one who makes the Galaxy cakes. I swallowed, my pulse hammering. That's me. Can you make one for my daughter's birthday? Before I could answer, 3 more voices chimed in with their own requests. Daniel grabbed my arm and pulled me into the kitchen. We need to hire help, he breathed, running a hand through his hair. Like yesterday. I was about to agree when my phone buzzed. Sabrina's name flashed across my screen. I declined the call. Daniel glanced up from counting the register. Your sisters. They can wait. We had customers to serve, orders to fill, and I wasn't about to let them interrupt this. That night after closing, Hannah wiped down tables while I set up my camera to film another video. This time, a tutorial on our best-selling lavender macarons. You should see your sisters' faces right now, Hannah said, shaking her head with a smirk. Their Instagram stories are suddenly full of my talented sister posts. Funny how success changes their tune. I nearly dropped the piping bag. They're posting about me? Daniel didn't even look up from the tray he was arranging. Don't let it get to you. Focus on what matters. He was right. Orders, content, the business, those were my priorities. My phone buzzed again. Amber this time. I switched it to silent and went back to my macarons. Let them wait. Let them wonder. Let them watch me rise. Because success, I was learning, was the sweetest revenge of all. 3 months after our viral moment, I was elbow deep in cake batter when Amber walked into my kitchen. Not through the front door. Through the back entrance. Your security sucks, she muttered, hovering near the industrial mixer. I kept whisking. Most people don't break into bakeries at 7 a.m. She set down 2 coffee cups, the expensive kind from the cafe across town. I need to talk. I didn't stop whisking. About what? How baking isn't a real career. The metal clinked harder than necessary against the bowl. Amber hesitated. I sold 3 paintings last year, she admitted. Her voice cracked on the last word. 3. That made me pause. Meanwhile, you're everywhere. Social media, the Culinary Times. Mom showed me the article. I finally looked at her. Amber, always the effortlessly stylish one, was in paint-stained jeans and a stretched-out sweater. Her makeup-free face looked tired, worn down. Why are you here, Amber? She sighed and slumped onto a flour-dusted stool. Because. She exhaled sharply. Because I was wrong. And jealous. And I don't know how to make art that matters anymore. The oven timer dinged. I pulled out a tray of golden croissants, the scent of butter and warmth filling the air. Amber watched as I glazed them with steady, practiced strokes. You make it look so easy, she whispered. I let out a short laugh. It's not. I failed at croissants for 6 months straight. Daniel almost banned me from buying butter. A ghost of a smile flickered across her face. Remember when we were kids? She asked. You used to let me lick the spoons. I glanced at her, my voice quieter. Before you decided baking was beneath you? I was stupid. She rubbed her hands together. And scared. She hesitated before pulling out her phone. Look at these comments. Her Instagram feed was open, filled with art she'd posted. The likes, the engagement, they were sparse. You're creating something people want, Nora, she murmured. My art just sits there. My phone buzzed. A text from Sabrina. We need to talk. Business proposition. Lunch today? Amber caught my expression. Let me guess, Sabrina wants a piece of this too? I exhaled. Apparently. Amber picked at the edge of the croissant. She lost her job. I blinked. What? The corporate merger didn't go well. She sighed. Lauren's magazine is struggling too. We're all just. She gestured vaguely. Falling apart while you're succeeding. I slid the croissant toward her. Amber hesitated, then broke it open. Steam curled between us like a peace offering. I'm not asking for a job, she said quickly. I miss my little sister. The front door chimed. Early customers. Daniel's voice carried from the storefront, greeting them. I wiped my hands on my apron. I have to get back to work. Amber stood. I know. She hesitated at the door. But Nora. I glanced up. I really am sorry. I watched her leave just as Sabrina's next text came through. Please. I need your help. Karma, it seemed, was just getting started. Sabrina and Lauren arrived together, looking as out of place in my bakery as penguins in a desert. Sabrina wore one of her sharp power suits, the kind meant for boardrooms, not pastry shops, while Lauren clutched her designer handbag like a life vest. Lauren's gaze swept over the exposed brick walls, the vintage fixtures, the shelves lined with fresh bread. Nice place, she said. Very rustic. I folded my arms. Cut the small talk. Why are you really here? Sabrina cleared her throat. We've been thinking. That's new, I muttered. They both shot me matching glares. We've been thinking, Sabrina continued, her voice forced, that maybe we could help expand your business. I arched a brow. I have corporate experience and Lauren knows marketing. I let out a dry laugh. You mean the marketing job you just lost? Lauren's face flushed. Amber sighed. Look, you little. Lauren started, but Sabrina grabbed her arm. Yes, okay. We lost our jobs. Happy now. Sabrina's professional mask cracked for the first time. Her voice wavered just a little, but I caught it. Is that what you wanted to hear? Before I could answer, Daniel appeared, carrying a tray of fresh sample cookies for customers. Everything okay here? Fine, I said, not looking away from my sisters. They were just leaving. Sabrina exhaled sharply. Nora, please. I have a mortgage. Lauren's about to lose her apartment. I picked up a cookie, snapping it in half between my fingers. Remember when I needed help? I asked, watching them closely. When I asked to borrow startup money? Sabrina looked down at the table. I said, get a real job. I turned to Lauren. And you? What was it you said about my YouTube channel? She swallowed hard. That it was embarrassing. I pushed the plate of samples toward them. Try these. Tell me what you taste. They hesitated, then each took a bite. Chocolate. Lauren guessed. Sea salt, Sabrina added. I smiled. Humility with a hint of karma. Daniel snorted, covering it with a cough. If you want jobs here, I continued, you start at the bottom. Minimum wage. Early mornings. Heavy lifting. No special treatment. Lauren scoffed. You can't be serious. I met her gaze. Dead serious. You'll learn every part of this business just like I did. Or you can walk out that door and keep your pride. Your choice. Sabrina straightened her jacket, squared her shoulders. When can we start? Tomorrow. For M. Wear comfortable shoes. Lauren's jaw dropped. 4 a.m. Daniel grinned. That's when the magic happens. Better get some sleep, ladies. They left, heels clicking against the floor, looking as if they just signed up for a prison sentence. Hannah, who'd been pretending not to eavesdrop while restocking the display case, walked over. You're really going to hire them? I picked up the last cookie, breaking it apart with my fingers. Sometimes the best revenge isn't serving it cold. It's serving it fresh from the oven. Sabrina was struggling with the industrial mixer again. You're doing it wrong, I said, arms crossed. The speed needs to be lower for bread dough. She huffed, flour dusting her once perfect hair. I have an MBA. I think I can handle a mixing bowl. I pointed to the dough climbing up the hook. Tell that to the monster you're creating. 2 weeks in, and my sisters were barely surviving. Sabrina had broken 2 mixing bowls. Lauren had burned 3 batches of cookies. Their manicured nails were chipped. Their designer outfits had been replaced with black work pants and non-slip shoes. This is ridiculous, Lauren muttered, hauling a 50-pound bag of sugar from the storage room. We should be handling the business side, not manual labor. Like you handled your magazine's social media? I asked sweetly. How many followers did you lose last quarter? The bag of sugar hit the floor with a thud. Lauren's eyes narrowed. You're enjoying this, aren't you? I smirked. Maybe a little. Daniel stepped between us. Lauren, those display cases won't stock themselves. Sabrina, turn off the mixer before that dough files for independence. They shuffled off, grumbling under their breath. I turned to Daniel. Think I'm being too hard on them? He grinned. No. Watch this. He raised his voice. Hey Sabrina. Remember when you told Nora her dream was cute but unrealistic? A metal tray clattered to the floor. Daniel continued. Or when Lauren posted that Instagram story mocking Nora's first failed batch of macarons? Okay, we get it. Lauren called from the front. The morning rush hit like a storm. Orders stacked up. The espresso machine hissed. Sabrina fumbled with customer requests. Lauren burned herself on a tray. And then disaster. Lauren tripped, sending an entire tray of fresh pastries crashing to the floor. She stood there, frozen, chest rising and falling too fast. Then she snapped. This is impossible. You're setting us up to fail. Tears welled in her eyes. You're punishing us, Sabrina added, stepping beside her. I folded my arms. No. I'm teaching you what I had to learn the hard way. They blinked. Success isn't about your degree or your connections, I said, voice steady. It's about getting back up when you fall. They stared at the mess of pastries, realization settling in. Now, I said, pointing to the floor. Clean that up. We've got customers waiting. As they scrambled for the mop, Daniel gave me a nod. Because sometimes the best lessons aren't taught. They're experienced. How about when you posted videos mocking my first farmer's market stall? My voice was steady but my chest tightened. Or when you told everyone at Christmas dinner that my business would fail within a month? Amber's smirk faltered. We were jealous, okay? Her voice was quiet now. Is that what you want to hear? I exhaled slowly, pressing my hands against the cool metal of the prep table. What I want, I said, is for you to understand what it takes to build something from nothing. To know what it feels like when your own sisters tear you down instead of lift you up. The room fell into silence. Daniel appeared in the doorway but didn't speak. He just watched, letting the moment settle. I took a deep breath. Remember when we were kids? I asked, my voice softer now. Before careers, before competition, before any of this? We used to bake cookies with Mom. Sabrina read the recipe, Lauren mixed, Amber decorated. And I cleaned up. We were a team. Sabrina stared down at the table. That was a long time ago. It doesn't have to be. I pulled out my phone and slid it across the table. I got an email this morning. Gourmet TV wants to feature the bakery they love. The idea of sisters working together. 3 sets of eyes snapped to me. What? But, I continued, only if we can prove we're actually a family business. They want authenticity, not drama. Lauren's fingers curled around her coffee cup. So what are you saying? I'm saying we have a choice. We can keep fighting or we can be sisters again. Real ones. Supporting each other. Learning from each other. Sabrina studied me, cautious. And if we choose to be sisters? Then you get real positions. Fair pay. Actual responsibilities. But you have to earn it. Not because you're my sisters, but because you're capable. Amber put her phone away. Like she was making a decision in real time. I could help with decorating. My art background would be perfect for custom designs. I nodded. Something shifted in the air. Not a resolution, not yet. But a truce. I folded my arms. So? What's it going to be? Sisters, or strangers? The Gourmet TV crew arrived on a Tuesday. Sabrina had organized every detail, down to the minute. Lauren managed the social media buzz, and Amber's artistic touch turned our display cases into edible art galleries. 5 minutes, everyone. The producer called out. Wait. Sabrina grabbed my arm. The others gathered as the crew adjusted their cameras. She took a breath. Before we do this, I need to say something. I tilted my head. Go on. She exhaled. I'm leaving the bakery. Lauren's jaw dropped. What? After everything? Let me finish. Sabrina's voice was calm. I'm leaving because I finally understand what you were trying to teach us, Nora. Success isn't about control. It's about finding your own path. And this isn't mine. Amber frowned. Then what will you do? I'm starting a business consulting firm. For small businesses like Sweet Revenge when it was just an idea. She turned to me, her expression unreadable. If that's okay with you, little sister? I felt a lump in my throat. Then I pulled her into a hug. More than okay. 2 minutes, the producer called. I have something to say too, Lauren spoke up. We turned to her. I've been awful. To all of you, but especially to you, Nora. She sighed. I was so desperate to be the successful sister that I couldn't handle someone else shining brighter. Amber smirked. Touching. Now I feel like I need to confess something too. Save it, I laughed. We all know you've been stealing cookie dough. Not just cookie dough, Daniel chimed in. She's been taking recipe notes too. Planning her own cafe, right, Amber? Amber blushed. I was going to tell you. Rolling in 30 seconds. I looked at my sisters. It's okay, I said. That's what family does. We inspire each other. Even when we drive each other crazy. Lauren wiped her hands on her apron. Speaking of crazy, I'd like to stay. If you'll have me. I'm actually starting to love this place. On one condition, I said, straightening her apron. No more sabotaging our Instagram posts just because you don't like the font. Lauren groaned. Fine. But we are changing it. 10 seconds. We stepped into place, flour dusted on our aprons, but our smiles? This time they were real. And action. I looked straight into the camera. Welcome to the Velvet Whisk. where every recipe has a story and every story has a lesson. I gestured to my sisters. And these? These are mine. The episode aired during our newly revived family dinner, held in the bakery's kitchen after closing. I can't believe you kept that blooper reel. Lauren groaned as the screen showed her dropping an entire tray of macarons. The internet loves it, I said, sliding my phone to her. Your hashtag is trending. Lauren the clumsy, Amber read aloud, dodging the napkin Lauren threw at her. Hey, at least you're famous now. Sabrina walked in carrying a cake. Not one of ours, hers. It was slightly lopsided, the frosting uneven, the decoration excessive. My first solo attempt, she admitted, setting it down. Made it for tonight. We all stared. Amber started. Horrible, Sabrina finished, laughing. But I made it myself. And now I finally get it, Nora. Creating something with your own hands, it means something. Lauren pulled out her tablet. Speaking of creating, wait until you see our online orders. We've got requests from 4 different states. 5, Daniel corrected, walking in with Hannah. Oregon just joined the list. I cut into Sabrina's cake. It was dense, dry. And yet, as I took a bite, I had never tasted anything better. I looked at Sabrina. Remember when you told me I'd never make it in this business? She met my eyes. I was wrong. Amber raised her coffee cup. To sweet revenge? To learning how to get back up, Sabrina added. To all of it, I finished. The good, the bad, and the perfectly imperfect. Hannah started clearing plates. You know what this means, right? She asked. You'll have to change the bakery's name. Sweet Revenge doesn't fit anymore. I looked around at my sisters. Actually, I said, I think we'll keep it. Not as a reminder of what we were, but as a celebration of what we've become. Daniel smirked. That's deep. Shut up and eat your cake? I laughed, feeling the last traces of old bitterness melt away, like chocolate in the sun.